this alien was not discovered where people wanted it to be discovered. It was discovered of all places in Mexico, and so now everyone is like speculating, like, we don't trust Mexico, which also leads me to another question. Who says that aliens are only aliens if they land in America? That doesn't make sense. To me, I'm like, they can land anywhere, and if there's any place they would have landed, they would land in the land where the meteorite took out the dinosaurs. And I think that was Mexico, right? So if there was any place, if I was an alien and I knew the history of Earth, and I knew that this meteorite had taken out the dinosaurs, I would probably want to go to the place or the area where that happened. If this was the Pentagon that came up with this image, oh my goodness, the world would be on fire right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to my episode. My name is Fabishmak and this is the Fabishmak podcast. I'm your host, and I know my voice sounds weird, but I just had COVID, which is so crazy in September 2023 to be speaking about COVID, but it is what it is. I had COVID and it's kind of embarrassing that everybody else kind of had it. I know there's people who have it right now, and sometimes we forget so quickly how bad it was 3 years ago. And so, yeah, I just happened to have COVID again, so that wasn't great. And my voice, this time was even worse. I lost my taste, my smell, all that stuff, but it's kind of coming back. But I could not miss this episode for any reason. Even COVID couldn't stop me. And I just want to say, take your health seriously and always try to stay healthy. Just 3 years ago, it was madness. So it doesn't mean that because COVID is now not like a pandemic. I hope. I'm not sure. I think the World Health Organization said something like that, but it still is out there. So yeah, I just happen to have it. I've had it. But today there was a story that came out that I was so happy about, and it's because since I was a kid, I've always dreamt about a few things, mermaids, and I even talked about this a long time in my show. I've dreamt about mermaids, aliens, and stuff that are just out there, and finally we actually have something. We have like a breakthrough story, and it is like, it's one of those things where people are gonna say it's not a breakthrough story. It is, so it depends with who you ask, but according to me, I think this story is huge. So the Mexican government revealed today a fossil of a dead alien that has been dead for like 1,000 years. And I think the UFO experts in the government were told to swear to by oath. I know that they were made to promise that they say the truth, but I'm really trying not to cough. They came up with this alien thing, and it is so interesting. It looks, every time we think about an alien, every time we think about aliens, we think about like this big, lanky, round globe eye, big head, bald for some reason, animals walking around, not even animals because they're not animals, they're from outside, but we think about these creatures that are really smart and have like really advanced technology and can telepath and do all these things. This did not look like that. This looked like maybe it was a baby alien that died, but the head definitely looks like something I would definitely think, that looks like an alien, which leads me to the question, the first idea of aliens and the first drawings, that must have come from somewhere. Because if you ask a person, any random person, draw what you think an alien is, they're probably going to draw something very similar. So they have an idea and they've seen that picture somewhere, right? It's the big black eyes, funny chin, small head, weird looking arms, and then there's like extension or whatever, but it's always a very particular like looking image. And I've always wondered, like, why do we think aliens look like that? And then it got me thinking, what if the first people who drew these images got it from somewhere? What if somebody knew what these things look like? Because for you to come up with an image and for every human being to think that all aliens are smart, like, why has anyone ever said, oh, maybe aliens are dumber than human beings, What if they don't, what if they're not as smart? What if they don't look like that? What if they're just square shaped? Everyone seems to think they have a certain look, and everyone seems to be carrying that look forward. And then this image just happens to connect with that look. That's so interesting. I do think somebody might have had some information a long time ago and they drew that, and then it kind of became a thing. And this kind of explains it. But now the only problem though is that, funny enough, this alien was not discovered where people wanted it to be discovered. It was discovered of all places in Mexico, And so now everyone is speculating we don't trust Mexico, which also leads me to another question. Who says that aliens are only aliens if they land in America? That doesn't make sense. To me, I'm like, they can land anywhere, And if there's any place they would have landed, they would land in the land where the meteorite took out the dinosaurs. And I think that was Mexico, right? So if there was any place, if I was an alien and I knew the history of Earth, and I knew that this meteorite had taken out the dinosaurs, I would probably want to go to the place or the area where that happened. And so it kind of makes sense, There's this belief, which also one of the pros and cons against aliens existing and not is always, why do they only happen to appear in America? We don't really have a lot of history outside. It's normally UK, US, Europe, South America and Africa, not so much. And it almost it seems like there's an idea that only something from the US or the UK or Japan can be if this was the Pentagon that came up with this image, oh my goodness, the world would be on fire right now. But because it's Mexico, there's a lot of speculation of what if they're just lying. I just feel like one thing, because they say it contains 70% human DNA and 30% non-human, or the vice versa, I don't know. One thing I know for sure is this has opened a door that cannot be closed. This is the Pandora box. Once this is open, it won't be closed, because it's going to be like the space race almost. Because Mexico has now come out with this image, it's going to force somebody else to be like, all right, we don't want to be missing out of this story. We don't want to miss out all the attention. We're going to come in with something bigger. And then now it's going to be a chain, and I cannot wait. Because I have always believed that the universe is far too big for us to be the only inhabitants. And if this is true, which I am praying it is, I now truly believe that humanity will change their focus from the reason why I wanted space travel and all that stuff to be like what Elon Musk is doing is because imagine you're trapped in a house. Imagine all your life, you're born in a mansion, a huge mansion, right? Suppose you're born in a huge mansion, and this mansion has walls, and everything you ever need is in that mansion. And so you grow up, your total way of life within that compound, and you interact with people within that compound, and there are all types of different people and different agendas and different goals, and you pick your own path, right? And at some point, one or two people end up going outside the compound and they become legendary, right? They become legendary because it's never happened before. And then you hear of one person who's like, I'm hoping to build a way for us to leave this compound and explore, for us to start being human beings that can explore beyond the compound. Of course, it's going to be scary, but it's going to shift people's ideas and attention from focusing only on life in the compound and fighting over resources and this person is rich, this person is poor, to all their mindset is going to shift towards a common goal, which will be looking outside. Now the compound represents Earth. The people represent us. We have like, the Ukraine Russia war. We have all these things going on, right? It's just in this rotating sphere, and everything we know is within this sphere, right? So people are born and they become great leaders. No leaders for like this, the Milky Way. No, they are leaders of Earth, and we fight, and all of history can only be recorded on the boundaries of Earth. Like we don't have the history of Mars, the Mars people. No, everything, all our knowledge of humanity and civilization is within the bounds of planet Earth, right? So there's nothing that we know anymore. Like the only piece of information that it's beyond us is the satellites, the space station, going to the moon and stuff like that. But we don't really have like I know we have information about like meteorites and whatever, but we don't really have information connected to human beings that spreads beyond the moon. So when Elon reaches Mars, that will be history, because he'll be the first human being to make contact with Mars. So all our history is within planet Earth, and civilization has been there for like, I don't know how many, like a billion years, I don't know, like, no, thousands of years. And so I just think it's just crazy that we can just exist in this planet by ourselves. There's no way. So I do think there's a way out, and I hope that, can you imagine if now Elon Musk decides, like when he eventually makes that trip to Mars, right? Do you think because he will be one of the founding fathers of Mars, right? Do you think Elon Musk will sit there and say, we have to introduce factors like poverty in this new world, like we have to introduce diseases and stuff? They might interact with new stuff in Mars that they will have to deal with, but I don't think in his vision of Mars civilization there's anywhere where the problems of planet Earth are taken there. He will want to build a new world where there's equality, there's more of like less of the troubles we have in Earth, like war and stuff like that. Now humans are humans, and humans will create that, but I don't see the point of humanity starting to like evolve and move to other planets and then having a carbon copy of lifestyle that is on planet Earth. That doesn't make sense, Like if you have human beings living on Pluto or Jupiter, and those people also have poor people, those people also have third world countries, those people have diseases. Like I feel like once you leave and you go to a new place, you need to design it better than you found it. That's like the people leaving the Europe and going to America. There's no way they would have left Europe. Imagine if they left Europe, go to America, and decided, oh, we're gonna have ourselves a new king, and then we're gonna, like we are gonna have the same system as the one in the UK. That would just be like, why did you leave anyway? So I think the beauty of aliens and the beauty of the belief that there's life out there is that there's a chance that if there is life out there, there's a chance for humanity to change the way we think forever. And I think once you instill that idea that there's more to life than just Earth, we might even start like thinking very differently and expanding our thoughts and thinking, okay, now we can do this, we can do that, and it doesn't just have to be on planet Earth. And I think that's pretty great. I think that's beautiful, and I cannot wait to see how this goes. Now, switching from Mexico to my beloved country, Kenya. Now, this is just a question I had. And I might just Google here for a second because it's fascinating to me. This story broke out. So there's a story that broke out a few weeks ago, and it's really like amazed me how this happened. So my country, Kenya, there's lobby groups that want the app TikTok to be banned in Kenya. Now, here's my thought. Okay, let me read what they say. The executive officer of Bridget Connect Consultancy, Bob Ndolo, wants MPs to ban the use of TikTok in the country, arguing the popular social media site is exposing young people to explicit sexual content, which makes sense, right? But now here's my question. TikTok. I think there's I don't know how many people, if you weigh the pros and cons of TikTok, right? TikTok has so many people getting money. There's people who make their livelihood off of TikTok, even in Kenya. And so it will be so crazy for MPs to just say, "We'll just ban TikTok." That makes no sense. That's and another has a very small pro of TikTok. Two, it connects people. It's entertaining. Now, I know the biggest thing is, oh yeah, it has content that is not good for kids and whatever. I think the argument should be, let us try and control, let's try and educate parents on how to be more vigilant in what their kids watch versus let us ban the app. I don't think it's the app's fault. I think it's the user's fault. Anything has good and bad, right? And sometimes, and I'm not even on TikTok, but I'm just saying, I think it's too harsh to ban it. And I don't even think they would do that. But if they did ban TikTok in Kenya, so many people lose their livelihood. So many people would lose a way of connecting. It's just insane. Now the biggest one though that really was funny, it's almost like comedy. Who owns TikTok? ByteDance. Where is ByteDance from? It's a Chinese company. Who is Kenya's biggest lender? And who does Kenya owe the most debt? China, So it was just funny in my head, thinking about it, Kenya wanting to ban a Chinese company that is making billions off of users of which Kenyans, a majority of Kenyans are a part of. I just don't think that would sway with the Chinese. I don't think they would just be oh yeah, go ahead and ban it, So anyway, so then I think a few weeks later, they agreed to moderate content. TikTok has now agreed to moderate content in Kenya. And I'm just that doesn't make sense. Because I think the content is still very much the same in TikTok. And the whole idea of banning an app because you don't like the content, I think sometimes people have an idea of TikTok that is a little bit off, because why not ban Facebook? There's so much content on Facebook, which is it's very low key. Instagram is oh my, it's even worse. They don't ban those things, but they ban, this. It just didn't make sense to me. But I thought that was so funny that in the midst of so many other things that you could do, they wanted to ban TikTok. I think it was just they wanted attention maybe or something, but they did get it. So we'll see if they moderate it. I hope they don't go to YouTube, because that would hurt my podcast. I'm really struggling not to cough right now, so I'm gonna end it there, and I hope you have enjoyed at least my ideas of the aliens and stuff. But I just wanted to talk about that real quick before we go to, we start seeing a lot. I laugh. When I saw that news, I was let's go. I'm a bit surprised it's very small, but that's a beginning. I'll take that. If that's true, I'll take that. But yeah, I can't speak for any longer because my throat is getting very dry. I need to drink some water. And I have a few calls to make. But yeah, I hope you hit the subscribe button if you find this interesting. And see, I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling not to cough. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.